Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. Today we are continuing our summer study of Srimad Bhagavad-gita as it is. Chapter 10. The heart of Bhagavad-gita. Ati Prabhu, could I have the English version? Right there, underneath the CC.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Može voditi strana.
Okay, chapter 10, Opulence of the Absolute. So, by many, this is considered the heart of the Gita. Again, Krishna is explaining even more about himself. And there's an unlimited amount that Krishna could continue to explain. Because after all, he's God. So, and so we get a glimpse of understanding even more what he is. So most of the chapter is like that. But again, Krishna is explaining how he reciprocates with his devotees in relationship with those who worship him. So, and Krishna explains in this chapter also how he's different from the demigods. You know demigods, huh? You know some names, demigods, for example?
Indra, Vayu.
Okay, all right, you have the idea. Okay, good. So demigods who are in charge of the cosmic affairs, the wind, the sun, the rain, all that. And they are very powerful. For us, it's like the difference between human being and a cat. You know, a cat can't understand how did the food get in that can. Completely impossible. And for us to understand how the demigods do whatever they do, impossible. They're controlling the movements of the living entities. Who is born in what family, and specifically what family is going to be exactly right for them. How do they know that? Very mystical to us. So Krishna, he's above the demigods. They also cannot understand him. He says, the demigods, they don't know my origin or my opulence because I'm the source of the demigods. And then, he who knows me as the unborn, the beginningless, the supreme Lord of all the worlds, he only is undiluted among men. So, that's the standard of knowledge. Who understands things properly is one who knows Krishna. One time there was one Prabhupada was giving public lecture, and somebody, they have materialistic idea of what spiritual means. And so somebody, they asked Prabhupada, how many windows are in the Empire State Building? Big building in New York. And Prabhupada, he says, this is insignificant knowledge. This is not knowledge of the absolute. Knowledge of the absolute is by far superior than mundane knowledge. But people, they think because they get the teaching from the Bible, they think that if you're spiritual, then you can do some miracles. You can manipulate the material energy in some way, do something uncommon. And about that, Prabhupada said, yes, my miracle is that I changed hippies into happies. So, and Prabhupada did do miracles. We all are convinced of that. Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of the mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, nonviolence, equanimity, satisfaction. Number 4.
What?
4.
What?
Satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame, and infamy. All of these various qualities are created by me alone. I remember when I first read that list, it was very impressive to me because all of these many aspects of human experience.
Oh, 11, 4.
No, 10. We're on chapter 10.
Yeah?
Yeah. 10:4.
Oh, I'm on 11. Okay.
You had a hard day. No problem.
Yeah. Okay.
So, all of these various qualities come from Krishna. Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion. So, people today, they want to think that everybody is equal. Do they do that here too?
Everything is equal.
Huh? Yeah, everybody, we're all equal. They want equality of outcome. Everybody should have the same. Nobody should be above others, right? And so it's like nobody can be smarter than somebody else. They want to bring everybody down to the same level. Huh? Are they doing that here?
Yes, I heard, but that is not, for me, that is not true. That is
Yeah,
not
right.
possible.
No, it's foolishness. But this is what's going on. They're not free from doubt and delusion. So these qualities coming from Krishna, and some people have them and some people don't. And if you can't recognize that somebody is superior to you, then how you can learn, how you can improve your own situation? It's impossible. Anyway, all of these different qualities, which are so significant in everybody's life, so they're coming from Krishna. It's not that I go to university, I go to Harvard, and because I got good education there, therefore I have intelligence. I'm an intelligent person because I have PhD. Prabhupada said PhD means plow driver. Plow driver, plug.
Ah,
The PhD is not very significant in terms of the absolute. So, control of the mind. Well, this is a very significant thing. Who can do that? Birth, death, fear, fearlessness. Fearlessness, such an important quality. Non-violence, all of these coming from Krishna. And then Krishna says all the authorities come from him also. The 7 great sages, and before them the other great sages, the Manus, they come from me. And also the Prajapatis, the living beings who are creating bodies for all the spirit souls that have various desires. Prajapatis, they are the progenitor, you know that word? They are the they create the population for all the species of life. Okay. And then one who is factually convinced of this opulence and power of mind at once engages in my devotional service without a doubt. So this is significant too, that if we have some understanding of who God is, then what he's saying here is that naturally one will want to serve him. It becomes the natural thing to do for one who actually understands the qualities, the greatness, the majesty of the Supreme Lord. So this is almost like a test of who actually understands God. Because if they don't understand him, they won't be doing that. But if they do understand him, naturally they will want to engage in his service. Now, with 8, 9, 10, and 11, these are called the Chatur Shloki, the 4 shlokas which are the heart of Bhagavad-gita, considered the essence, the whole Bhagavad-gita in 4 verses. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matas mitir. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate ti matva bhajante mam buddhabhava samanditaha. So I am the source of everything, Krishna says. Everything's coming from me. The wise who know this engage in my service without a doubt. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are surrendered unto me. And they derive great satisfaction and bliss, enlightening one another and conversing about me. So this is very typical of devotees of Krishna, or those who come to Krishna consciousness, because there's such a wonderful taste of hearing about this subject matter from Bhagavad-gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing about Krishna. It's so superior that to hear mundane topics is very trying. For many devotees, after they begin to take up Krishna consciousness, they go home to see their families, and all their families want to talk about is, what can they talk about? Mundane activities that they always talk about. And for the devotee, this is very boring. It's like, why don't we talk about something real, something meaningful? So, this is the nature of devotee. They delight in hearing about Krishna. There's one devotee, he memorized Krishna book, Prahlad Swami.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So one time the devotees, they were traveling in a van, and he said to the devotees, would you like to hear Krishna book? And they said, yeah. So then he just start reciting it from memory. He had memorized the entire first chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very amazing.
Good memory.
Yeah. Well, I met one Indian man once. He had memorized the entire Bhagavad-gita, and he could recite it, any one like that, very sharp. So They derive great satisfaction and bliss, enlightening one another and conversing about me. That's the fact. And then Krishna talks about how he reciprocates with those devotees. To those who are constantly devoted and serve me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So this is very important. That Krishna, he is enlightening from within. He is giving that knowledge. So this is called revealed knowledge. This book is not like studying mathematics or chemistry or some mundane activity where you can read it and study it and then learn. So you can read and read and read and not understand anything because it's revealed by Krishna when from within the heart he sees that we have surrendered to him, that we are actually want to serve him, we want to understand him. And so then he reveals that knowledge. It's just like, it's the same in any relationship. It's just like, two people meet, or boy and girl, right? Good example always. You don't reveal yourself to just anybody. You reveal yourself to those people who you've developed some trust in. You can be casual friends with anybody, right? But you don't reveal your heart or your innermost thoughts or desires to just anybody. Huh? Only with special friends who you're very close with. So it's the same thing with Krishna. When he sees that we are with him, that we are, we don't have any ulterior motive, we're genuine in the relationship. Huh? We don't want something from the relationship. We want to have that relationship with Krishna. Then he will show himself. And there's many stories by devotees where Krishna shows himself in various ways. I told you my one story about the $2,000. So that's one way Krishna was showing me how he's dealing with me. I have another story like that also. Back in 1992, the first book that I put together like a, phone book. You have a phone book here. Huh?
Oh yeah.
Phone book. So I put together a phone book for Hare Krishna movement. Okay. And so many different things. Anyway, I was almost finished with it. And when I started, I had a part-time business that was giving me enough money to keep things going. But that business stopped right when I was close to the end, and I had no income. So I thought to Krishna, well, I'm doing your service. If you want me to continue, you can provide something. I'm depending on you, whatever you arrange. So shortly after that, I got in a small car accident. Just a very minor car accident. But my car, my car was 10 years old at that time. Anyway, so, yeah. So when the insurance man came to look at the damage, he said, okay, your car is only worth $2,500 and the damage to the car is $2,800. So it's a complete loss. Okay. I had $500 deductible. Means I paid the first $500 of damage. And so they wrote me a check for $2,000. Then I bought the car back from the insurance company for $300. And I took it to Mexico. I was living in San Diego. I took it to Mexico to get it fixed. That cost $100, $200, something like that. So then by the time the whole thing was done, I had $1,500 left over. And that's all I needed to complete doing the book. So, I just say, okay, Krishna, I depend on you. And he arranged, okay, you have a car accident and then money. So, so again, I could see Krishna, he's he's reciprocating with me, like this. So I put myself, and here's the secret. We have to put ourselves in a situation where we depend on him alone. If we're going to depend on something else, Krishna says, okay, what can I do? Right? Krishna says, I'd like to show myself to you, but you don't give me any opportunity. You're depending on your money, you're depending on your job, you depend on your relationships. But if we put ourselves in a situation where we depend only on Krishna, he'll show himself. And it's such a wonderful thing like that. Because, yes, Krishna's real. And he's reciprocating with me personally, directly. It's so wonderful. So, Krishna shows himself in so many different ways, like that. And he gives us the intelligence, the understanding, how to come closer to him. He's in the heart, and he's talking to us softly. In English, they say that soft, small voice within. It's sometimes referred to like that. You have this kind of saying? Or inspiration. This word means God within. So Krishna's in the heart, and he's psst, psst, psst. He's talking softly to us if we're listening. And we want to develop the intelligence or the sensitivity. We want to develop the sensitivity to hear him and to respond to him. And that takes a little practice. We've talked about that before. And continuing then in the last Chatur Sloki 11, to show them special mercy. Out of compassion for them, I, dwelling within their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So Krishna removes all of the ignorance, like the sun coming up in the daytime. The analogy is very good. Like we say, Om Agena Timananda Shah, I'm born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master has opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. So Krishna says the same thing. I destroy the darkness of ignorance with a shining lamp of knowledge. So Krishna's revealing everything. He'll reveal himself. And then when we know Krishna, nothing left to be known. Right? We have a very good friend. He knows everything. He knows the past, present, and future. He's in everybody's heart. He knows what everybody's thinking. And he's our good friend. And he'll help us with whatever we need. If you ask him how to take that bumper off, he'll show you.
Ma što zdete? Zezam me, gleda me cijeli dan kak prčkam pa.
Please, Krishna, give me the intelligence.
Yeah. I ask his devotee.
Okay. So, anyway, so many devotees, they memorize these 4 verses. And it's a nice thing to do. They to repeat that and know that, learn that, those 4 slokas, remember them again and again. Now, Krishna's recognizing, you are the Supreme Lord. Did I say Krishna? Arjuna. Arjuna is recognizing, Krishna, you're the Supreme Lord. In 12. The ultimate, the purest, the absolute truth. And all the different sages, they say this. Now you're declaring the same thing. Now please let me know how I should think of you. Please tell me of your divine opulence. How shall I think of you? How shall I know you? In what form shall you be remembered? So we've already had some experience of this in chapter 7 and chapter 9, where Krishna says what he is, how he's reflected in this material world. And this goes again in the same thing. And it's an interesting study. You can see how he says that in chapter 7, again, how he says that in chapter 9, and then here in chapter 10. In this chapter, whatever thing there is that's great, that represents Krishna. So he says, of fishes, I am the shark. Of mountains, I am the Himalayas. Of trees, I'm the banyan tree. So whatever wonderful, whatever thing there is, the best thing in that group is Krishna. And so he goes through many verses here saying all of that. And it's a very nice meditation that we can make to read this again and again and study it, to hear it. Of purifiers, I am the wind. That's an interesting one, because the most purifying thing is oxygen. So that's Krishna. Of purifiers, I am the wind. So that's oxygen. I'm the letter A, the dual compound, inexhaustible time. I'm all-devouring death, on and on and on. So, Krishna, for quite a while, he explains, again, whatever a thing is, he's the best. Of bodies of water, I am the ocean. I'm the strength of the strong. So, if we learn this, then we can learn to see Krishna everywhere. If we become Krishna conscious. That's what we want to do, right? International Society for Krishna Consciousness. To be conscious of Krishna all the time. And that is the rest of the chapter. And he says, but what is the need for all of this detailed knowledge? Again, he shows how amazing he is. With but a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. So you think about Krishna's in the heart of all living beings. He's inside of every atom. We can't, it's beyond our comprehension how many atoms there are. And Krishna's inside every one of them. And that's just insignificant for him. So it's the Bhagavad-gita gives us, actually, this is just the introduction to understanding about Krishna. The graduate study is Srimad Bhagavatam, to understand further the entire nature of the Lord and how he reciprocates with his devotees. So this is the beginning study. That's the beginning. It gives the essential understanding of spiritual truth, Bhagavad-gita. Questions, comments?
Whisper?
This whisper
From the heart?
Yes, from heart. When is the mind confused, we can hear this whisper.
Right.
We must calm down
the mind.
And then we can listen this whisper of Krishna.
You're a good student. That's exactly what we were saying back in chapter 6. Do you remember? Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, unless we bring the mind under control, who's who? It's all me, right? You know, we see people who are doing creative activities and they think, I did it, right? I made the painting, I made the movie, I did the, you know. But Krishna's giving the inspiration. So, Krishna's, he's giving that anyway, but it's really nice to be acknowledged, right? It's just like your father, right? And you're giving to your family all the time, right? That's your duty and your love. You're happy to do that. But when you're acknowledged, or mother, when your service is acknowledged, it's nice. So Krishna is like that too, you know. And if we acknowledge him, he's very happy also. We can actually, Prabhupada explains, we can come to understand the nature of God simply by studying our own nature, because we're a person and he's also a person. And so these same things that we experience, he also experiences. Love and affection and so on. And it's nice to be appreciated, right? So Krishna is like that too. So we were going to town, we were talking about Christmas now, which has no meaning. I was explaining how Christmas is no meaning anymore. I see all these lights and decorations, but they're empty. They don't have any purpose or anything. There's no focus. Because when I was a child, of course, then Jesus was, when we say, the reason for the season, you know. So, but that's gone, and the whole experience is empty. And so, you know, it's impersonal, right? So we can be impersonal with God too. This whole world is. They're simply happy to receive anything from him, but they don't thank him. Or, oh yeah, that's where I was going with that. Jesus has a birthday, and we all give presents to each other, but nobody's giving present to Jesus. So